Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to take a closer look at BigBear.ai and answer where I think the stock price could be by the end of 2024. So where would the stock price be in 1 year? Now, artificial intelligence has been the hottest investing trend in 2024 and 2023 for that matter, and BigBear.ai is benefiting from that increased interest both from investors and customers. So let's take a closer look at this innovative AI stock and answer where I think it could be in 1 year.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So one of the numbers I'm going to need to make this estimate is BigBear.ai, its EV to revenue. Now currently it's trading at an EV to revenue of 3.563. You can see that in recent weeks it's been higher. It's up from 2.6 up to 3.563, and it's the highest it's been going back to, let's say, July of 2023. So it's gotten a nice boost from this AI trend. If we look back longer, let's say we try and get a 3-year look at this stock, you can see it's still below its all-time highs in terms of valuation. It used to trade at an EV to revenue of around 12, but that was in 2022 when the cost of capital was much lower. Remember, that was before the Federal Reserve really started ramping up the pace of interest rate increases, and as interest rates increase, it has a downward effect on asset prices like growth stocks. It has a more meaningful impact. The magnitude is larger for unprofitable growth stocks because their cash flows are not expected until several years into the future. So the discount rate being higher for more years brings down those valuations more so than it does for more mature companies that have cash flows coming in earlier years. So let's look at the other number I'm going to need, and that is its enterprise value. It's currently trading at an enterprise value of 552 million, and that's also up in recent weeks. Although if we look back longer in this metric as well, we can see it's nowhere near where it used to be, up closer to nearly 1.75 billion in enterprise value. It's about a fraction of where it's been, about 1/3 of where it used to be. Now, there's no telling if it'll ever get back to those heights, but in this video, we'll look at an estimate and use some assumptions to see how close it'll get. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to need is its fiscal year 2024 revenue estimate. Now, according to the Wall Street analysts that are following BigBear.ai stock, they think it's going to deliver 173.74 million in revenue in 2024. Now, this is among a consensus. It's not just one analyst. So the analysts that are following BigBear.ai stock, they submit their forecast for where they think the revenue will come in, and this is a consensus among those Wall Street analysts. Some of those analysts might think it's going to do better, some might think it's going to do worse, and so the consensus is this number here. All right, now that we've collected the estimates and assumptions we're going to use for the valuation, let's take a look at the actual estimate for where its enterprise value could be. So if it indeed delivers 173,740,000 in revenue in 2024, and the EV to revenue stays the same where it's at right now at 3.56, then the enterprise value could rise to 618.5 million. That would be a increase from the 552 million it's currently trading at, a more than 10% increase, which investors would be relatively pleased with BigBear.ai stock. Given its higher risk profile, a roughly 10% return may not be as attractive, but if it's to outperform, it needs to change one of those two things. Either its revenue needs to come in better than expected, or its valuation needs to increase. One of those two things needs to happen. If instead its valuation decreases to 2.5, the revenue stays the same, the enterprise value could fall to 434 million. If the enterprise value was to fall further, the enterprise value would fall to 347 million. And then in the worst case scenario I have modeled here, an EV to revenue of 1.5, the enterprise value could fall to 260 million. a scenario which I don't think is very likely. Now, one of the factors that could cause BigBear.ai stock price to increase is continued popularity in the AI market. Take a look at the total addressable market for AI. According to Statista, the total addressable market for artificial intelligence is expected to grow to $1.85 trillion by the year 2030. That would be up significantly from the $207.9 billion in 2023. Artificial intelligence is popularized by large language models like ChatGPT, but there are more applications like driverless car technology, recommender systems, and more. The companies that stand to benefit from the growth in this AI surge is companies like Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, and more. Investors getting in today could realize exponential returns from investments that capitalize on the growing effectiveness of artificial intelligence. So now that you understand the massive opportunity ahead, if BigBear.ai was to capitalize more quickly on that opportunity and revenue exceeds expectations, which is not unheard of, right? So far, in most of the AI companies I've been following, the revenue data that keeps coming in is better than expected, right? You're thinking about companies like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Supermicro Computer, and on and on. I could go with these companies that every quarter revenue is coming out, every month that data is coming out, it seems to be better than expected, even though the hype around AI is already so strong. So it wouldn't be unheard of for its revenue to exceed expectations. However, in my base case, if its revenue stays where it is and there is no increase in its valuation, I suspect these things stay the same. 173 million in revenue, EV to revenue of around 3.56, and an end of year enterprise value for BigBear.ai of around 620 million to 650 million. Somewhere in that range is where I would best estimate where I think BigBear.ai and its stock price, or its enterprise value, I should say, will end up by the end of 2024. Now, I will update this forecast if the incoming data is significantly different and it warrants an update, like the revenue forecast gets upgraded or downgraded, the valuation changes significantly. I will update this forecast as I've been doing with the other forecast I have for the myriad other companies I've created these valuation forecasts for. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.